Motion carries. First, we don't have any recognitions. Delegations. We don't have any delegations. Communications report. Dr. Hutchins.
Thank you. Yeah, you can hear me. The only thing I have to report is I have been reading. As a matter of fact, I read at Clear Fork, and I've also read at Stratton Elementary, and both of them were great experiences.
Thank you. Ms. Smith.
Park's 100-year celebration, which was a nice event, and they had a decent turnout for the event. And I also went to Trap Hill-A-Ween, and that was massive. There must have been 500-600 kids there.
Thank you. Ms. Hambrick.
I went to Park Celebration too, and they did a really nice job setting everything up. It was really good.
Mr. Snow.
I don't have much to say except it was awful pretty drive down over the mountain tonight with the trees all turning and everything, and I'm just glad to be here.
Thank you. I don't have anything, Dr. Starcher.
So first I want to distribute to the board members our second month enrollment. It's a little higher. I'm glad it's a little higher than what I was thinking, but on our second month enrollment for 2024 is 10,363. So it is a drop from last year, but not as extreme as I was concerned. But we certified that last Thursday. So that has been submitted to the state. Today, I saw Mr. Dillon walk in. Mr. Dillon has attended 4 different meetings that were held with our bus operators today by attendance area. They were held at 3 of the high schools and then in Munson Hall for the Beckley area. But so that is associated with the transportation study that's being conducted. So again, meetings were held in each of the 4 attendance areas today. I too attended Trap Hill-A-Ween. That was a lot of fun. There were, as Ms. Smith said, there were hundreds of kids and their families. It was a great event. So hats off to Trap Hill. They really did a nice job with that. Likewise, the centennial celebration at Park. It was really good. Ms. Kincaid put together a PowerPoint presentation, I guess, using PowerPoint, but it was a video at least, that showed the history, the 100 years of history at Park Middle School. I'm hopeful that she can share that at our LSIC meeting when we go to Park in December. But it was very nice, and she did a great job. And then the last thing I have is today, our office, appropriate administrators, we've completed the quarterly data reviews at each of our schools, except for ACT. We do that a little differently. But they've been good. Our schools are really, they're really focused on improving student outcomes. So it's been a great 4 or 5 days of meetings, but that's what we've been doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Other reports, attendance report, Ms. Lacey. Is she here?
Good evening, President Ford, board members, and Dr. Starcher. I'm here to present the second month attendance data. For the second month, our attendance rate was 92.124. Our enrollment for the second month was 9,662, which was a decrease of 61. We had 5 high school exits for the month. Our total for our homeschool so far this year is 1,040, which was an increase of 39 this past month. We have 3 new homebound students for a total of 19 for the year, 24 new alternative for a total of 35, and we have 22 Hope Scholarship Notice of Intent that we have received for the month. Any questions?
Any questions?
Only question I have, and I guess I'm probably missing something here. Our final enrollment you gave us was 10,363, but the enrollment she gave us was quite different. What's the difference I'm missing there?
Pre-K,
Pre-K is not included in your report?
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Ms. Lowry, data presentation.
Good evening, board members, President Ford, Dr. Starcher. So I'm going to go over the beginning of the year I-Ready data. We have completed the diagnostic for both elementary and middle schools. We're going to start, you have two packets in your folder. We're going to start with math, which is the one that has the blue cover. And we're just going to go through this rather quickly, but just to show you what we have completed for I-Ready for the beginning of the year. So if you're looking at the math on the first page there, you'll see all the schools and how they performed in 2023 compared to 2024 in fall. So these are two fall comparisons. And even though they're different kids and they're both fall, what we want to see there is that the green increases and the red decreases from year to year, so that we're not starting out, we're closing gaps and not starting out constantly at the same place or even lower. So if you look in the green, we had 14 schools out of 23 that grew with a number of percentage of kids above or early on grade level. The county grew 1%, so we have more kids. Do y'all see where I'm at in the math? So it's the second page in the blue packet. I did hard copies because I didn't know if we would have PowerPoint. Okay, are we good? Yeah, almost good. Okay, so in the green, you'll see that we had 14 schools that increased the percentage of kids that started out on or above grade level. And remember that this is this is the standards for their grade that they're just starting. So if they're on or above grade level, they're already performing at the grade level they just began. So we're not as concerned about yellow because they really should be a little bit behind because they're starting out with new standards. So yellow can go either way. That means hopefully we have more of the red going into yellow and more in yellow going into green. So 14 schools did have a higher percentage of kids in the green than they did last year. In the red, we had 13 schools of 23 decrease the amount of kids that are 2 or more grade levels below. So that's great. And our county was 6% less in red, which is very good as well. The next page will show you the middle school. In middle school, that is concerning. We had 4 that, it's good that we had 4 that dropped the percentage in red. So that was really good. They had 4 schools that dropped. How many were 2 or more grade levels below? 1 school, Park, remained the same. And if you'll take a look at virtual, I was super pleased with that because remember, this is beginning of the year, so we're comparing students in virtual at the beginning of last year compared to now. They had an increase of 9% of students that were on or above grade level, and they decreased 23% of the students that were 2 or more grade levels below. So very pleased to see that. So if you'll turn to the next page, it'll have a page 16 at the bottom because this is from a PowerPoint. But this just shows our grade levels compared to ourselves. So from 22, 23, 23, 24, and 24 and 25. So kindergarten, first grade, second, and third had a little bit of a decrease. So they did not improve as much. When you look at the red there, so we actually went up in red in first, second, and third. Not significantly, but we did have an increase in the students that were 2 or more grade levels behind. But fourth and fifth did very well with reducing the number of students in the red and increasing the green. And then on the following page, it has a 17 at the bottom. Sixth grade stayed right around the same, but seventh and eighth had a significant increase in green and lowering the red, so that was good as well. So we were pleased with that. Moving on to what says page 19 at the bottom, you will see our comparison, the district comparison to West Virginia and then the nation. So remember, there's 44 counties that use iReady. So we were above West Virginia as a district in math. You can see the comparison there where West Virginia had 15% in the green, we had 17, and then they had the 34 in the red, and we had the 32. The next page, which has the 20, is kindergarten, first and second, and this compares our grade levels to West Virginia and the nation. So kindergarten is just about the same as West Virginia and national levels. First grade was better, and as was second grade compared to West Virginia students. And then on the following page, we have third, fourth, and fifth. We did better than the state there as well. You can see that third grade did very well. And then fourth and fifth were better than the state. Fifth grade had a significant drop in red, which was good. Then the next page shows sixth, seventh, and eighth. And once again, seventh and eighth did very well. So very pleased with the way they are performing in math. Okay, so that was math. Do we have any questions about math? Once again, we'll have a better comparison when we get our mid-year data. This is fall to fall. So the next packet is reading, and it has the green cover.
Why was kindergarten, you think, so low? I mean, they're just starting out with us. It's kind of, I mean, are we just getting them in a lower level, you think, or what?
I don't know if we have identified as many came to pre-K, that maybe they didn't start out in pre-K as they did. Pre-K with the 3-year-olds and the 4 and 5-year-olds mix, we tend to focus a lot on behavior and social interaction and just getting them ready for school, so I don't know if that was it. Typically, our kindergarten's pretty high. I think we're going to see a significant increase in kindergarten when you see the fall data compared to the mid-year. Typically, kindergarten gets them up there really quick, so I think we'll see a drastic increase for that.
How about first grade?
Yeah, first grade, I felt would be higher. We had implemented science of reading last year, so I don't know if the summer regression. Remember we talked about that summer school, we didn't have, or we call it summer camp or the extended year, we didn't have many kids come to that. We offered it to 40 and only had the 13. I think that could be part of it. All right, so this is ELA in the reading. So looking at that first page that you see our schools, we had a 2% increase in our county with students that started above or early on grade level, and an 8% decrease in 2 or more grade levels below. So pleased with that. We had 11 schools that increased their percentage of students on or above grade level out of 23. 14 schools decreased the number of kids who were below 2 or more grade levels below. So we were pleased with that. So that just indicated that those schools are closing the gap with several of those students. And they're starting off better than they had last year. On the following page, our middle schools, see, 3 of the 5 increased the number of students that started out above or on grade level. But then our, the 2 or more grade levels below was kind of a mixed bag there. We have 3 schools that actually increased the number of kids that were 2 or more grade levels below, and that's concerning. And then 2 schools that dropped. Trap Hill dropped significantly, so that was good to see. So ELA is more of a concern at the middle school level. Virtual, once again, increased 12% of the students that started above or early on grade level and decreased 8% that were 2 or more below.
Let me ask you about that virtual. Isn't that a changing population, though? I mean, that's not, some of those kids are virtual now. They were in class last year and back, I mean.
It is a change of population. But,
yeah.
and a lot of people say, well, that means alternative wasn't in there, but they weren't in there to start last year either.
Right.
So it may not always be the same students. One thing that we did take a very close look at with virtual is we made sure that this year we followed policy to the letter, that if they did not meet the requirements, we did not allow them to return to virtual. So I think that helped us as well, that they weren't starting out at a huge deficit.
Okay, thank you.
We also had, speaking of virtual, we've hired 2 new teachers there, Ryan Jackson and Lisa Metter. I think that's her name. And so we have 2 new teachers there, and they seem to be doing a great job. We also have Mr. Gum and Mr. Newberry that are continuing that instruction. All right, so looking there again, you'll see our comparison to ourselves, fall to fall. Once again, K1 and 2 tended to show a little bit of a, well, second grade, they did better with the red. We have just 1% less for green. So second was pretty much the same. We had a little bit of an increase in the red for first grade, 1%. And kindergarten didn't do quite as well with just 2% less in the green. So it was very close. But third, fourth, they did better at decreasing the number in the red and increasing green. Fifth grade had a little bit of increase in red. And then the next page, you'll see sixth had a little bit of an increase in the kids who were 2 or more grade levels below, but seventh and eighth, once again, showed growth, had more in the green, and decreased their number of red. So we were pleased with that. Seventh and eighth had improvement in both ELA and math. And Dr. Starcher mentioned our data meetings. Those have been very impactful. So pleased to hear what they're talking about, how they're looking at data. Ms. Hodges has been doing curriculum team meetings with them monthly. We've not had that before. So we've seen a lot of work that she has done in our team with secondary schools, and I think we're going to see great improvements at all levels. But just being in those meetings these past few weeks has really stood out to me, the work that's been accomplished from one year to now. So I'm very excited about where we're headed. Once again, out of 44 counties, you'll see the district compared to West Virginia there. We definitely, we're above the state there, not significantly, but we did decrease the red, or less red and more green. And then the next few pages also shows, once again, kindergarten in first and second compared to the state. Kindergarten was a little less in the green than compared to the state, but then you'll see across the board there, first and second, we did better. Second had a significant improvement. And then third and fourth did well. Fifth grade was not better than the state, if you look at there. But it all was very just not drastic percentage amounts.
Okay,
And
so fifth grade, where it's not, it carries over to the sixth grade? I mean,
that's true. You're not comparing the same fifth graders, but it's just like where fifth graders are coming in. So if you look at sixth grade, those would have been the fifth graders last year. So it's not really a cohort comparison. Yeah. If you want to do that, so if you'll look at fifth grade, we would have to look at last year's on those first pages and then compare them to those sixth graders. Yeah. And then you'll see the sixth, seventh, and eighth were all positives. Once again, seventh and eighth doing very well there. Are there any questions about the beginning of the year data?
I guess I have, got a bug here, hang on. Really, it's concerning to me, and I don't know what the answer is, and we'll just keep maybe that's your all's job, but when you have Stratton Elementary, only 11%, that means almost 9% of those kids are, not at grade level.
That's right.
And
now remember, we're right now, yellow is okay, but we just want to watch those kids. We worked with our principals to show them where their kids were, how far they were from yellow, from being in green. There's some right there at the top of yellow, ready to go into green, and that's because they really shouldn't know all those grade level standards right now. Because they're testing them. If you just started third grade, you're being tested on third grade standards. So if you're right there at yellow, then you're okay, unless you're close to going into the red. Go ahead.
just me. It makes no sense to me that we test kids on standards that they haven't been exposed to. Makes no sense to me. So if somebody could explain it, that'd be great.
Well, one thing is to see where they are, and so when we do small groups, we use this data to say, well, if there were 2 or more grade levels below, then we're going to, this program also tells us exactly what standards certain students are missing. So it might say that Rick Snuffer needs these standards to catch up. Marie has already learned these standards. So when we put you into groups, it also groups these kids. When we do small group instruction, then I'm going to pull the kids who need short vowels, and someone else might pull that needs the geometry and the consonants that are long vowels, and work with those kids there. So we already see the kids that have these. We test them on those standards to see how they grow and how they improve throughout that year. So we have to have a starting data point. Basically, yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have no unfinished business. Policies and procedures. The following have,
We have one more, I think, Ms. Hodges.
oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Ms. Hodges. Can't forget you.
Good evening, President Ford, Superintendent Dr. Starcher, fellow board members. I provided you a hard copy in case technology didn't work, and it looks like it's not going to. I'm extremely proud of our high school principals. Last year, I think it's dying. Don't put it on bottom. Last year, SAT changed to a digital version, and part of the conversations that we had at the end of the year, beginning of this year, were, you know, when we saw SAT scores drop, was it because it was a new format of the test? Did our students just were they not familiar with the new format? Was there something we could do to correct that? So one of the things, and I won't take credit for this, one of the things that we worked on was looking for a benchmark type of program to help us see where our ninth graders were coming in, their baseline, and continuing to work with those students from 9th, 10th, and 11th. So our thought, and this was myself working with the 4 high school principals, was giving the PSAT 2 times a year. 2 times for 9th grade, 2 times for 10th grade, in the fall of 11th grade. Because then, of course, they do take the SAT in the spring for 11th grade. So, in looking at the fact that this was a new digital format, it was determined that there are free options, and it's a free test. Students can take, I think there's 6 or 7 versions. If you have just a child at home, they can go on, test, see how they can do. But what we're doing with that is trying to take the data that the students get from their practice test and use that to help them set goals, especially as a 9th grader, 10th grader, 11th grader, in looking at how close they are to promise, how close they are to making the growth that they need to make, helping the teachers realize that we need to focus on the skills that they need for the assessment that they are held accountable for. So the 2 graphs that I provided you, the first one we'll talk about the average math. As you can see, it's very simple. I just kind of color-coded for the schools. So for 9th grade, 10th, and 11th, the top bar, the first bar is blue. That's for Independence. Red is for Liberty. Yellow gold is Shady, and maroon is Woodrow. What you see on both graphs is the average PSAT fall score. So for PSAT, the highest you can score on the PSAT is a 1520. In order for a student to qualify for promise, they have to score a 1080 combined. but they have to have a minimum of a 510 in both subjects. So if a student scores 900 in ELA but 200 in math, they still will not be eligible for Promise because they have to have the minimum score of the 510 in both areas. So in looking at both graphs, whether it's ELA or math, both graphs present an average of each school. So if looking at Independence High School, 11th grade, their average math score was 419. So obviously, if it's an average, there are definitely students that are meeting that 510 minimum, but there are students that are not. Looking at 9th grade, if we're looking at, again, still Independence High School, their average was right at 360. For 9th grade, we wouldn't expect them to be close to that 500 mark because they are in 9th grade. But next year, and well, I should say in the spring, and then in next year when they continue to take the practice test, we can continue to watch those students progress and improve, and also set goals for themselves so that they know exactly what they're working towards for each benchmark that they complete. Any questions?
So we're giving this and also the ACT and SAT?
Students can choose to take the ACT. That is not what we as a state offer to give them. If a student chooses to do the ACT, they do that on their own.
Right.
The state, we give SAT.
SAT, okay.
Yes, that's what the state requires.
Okay. But
Yes, and that is what they use to count for Promise.
I understood, though, you can convert the ACT to SAT. Is that correct?
Say that again.
If a student takes an ACT,
Mm-hmm.
the score on that correlates back over to SAT.
In the past, ACT had its own scale. SAT has its own
It's a
scale.
different scale, but let's say you scored a 29 on ACT.
Yeah, I mean, you can
That
make a
equates-
correlation.
That equates to,
Mhm.
yeah.
I don't know what the specifics are for ACT anymore because it's been 30 years since I took it, and it's not part of what our model is for the State Department. I'm not sure what their conversion is now.
Okay.
Any other
We
questions?
can find that
Yeah,
information.
I can easily find that out. Anything else?
Any other questions? Thank you. Under policies and procedures, this policy has completed the 30-day comment period. Approve revisions of the C.2.10 lateral professional non-teaching positions.
We received no comments, so I would recommend it be approved as presented.
Y'all have heard the recommendation. You have a motion?
I move we approve C.210 lateral professional non-teaching position as was presented to us.
Motion's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Consent items. Any consent items need to be removed? We got A and B.
I move we approve the consent items as were submitted to us.
Have a second? Motion's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. No new business. Consideration of personnel. Approve superintendent's recommendations for 24-25.
Good evening, everyone. We do have a couple corrections for you. On page 1, the very first entry, A, retirement, Kimmery Preliz, we need to add that is a 215-day employment term and change that retirement date to 12/31/2024. And the second one, on page 3, under extracurricular secondary, part B, make that effective date 7/1/2024. and remove non under James Lewis. That should reflect paid, Woodrow Wilson High.
Your recommendation?
My recommendation is as presented with the changes noted by Ms. Samanko.
Y'all have heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I move we approve the superintendent's recommendations with the corrections that were noted.
For a second? Motion's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay, we'll now take a quick, brief intermission till 5:30. And we'll adjourn with the LSIC meetings. Thank you.
Test, 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 test. Test, test, test. Test. Testing, testing.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Yeah. We're now going to have the LSIC meetings with the schools. And just so you know, the LSIC meetings are required that we do this. However, we do enjoy hearing from all the schools, and we look forward to hearing from you all tonight. The first one on the agenda is Dr. Starcher.
Well, good evening, and before we get into the actual LSIC presentations, we have an award to give this evening. If you look at your agenda, number 14 says Discussion of LSIC Executive Summaries, and then in parentheses says Recognition of Difference Maker Award Recipients. So the Difference Maker is a new award we have started here in Raleigh County Schools. Obviously, each year we recognize our Teacher of the Year and our Service Personnel Employee of the Year. But this year, we are trying something new and identifying a difference maker each month. And just a little bit of information on that. Anyone can nominate an employee to be awarded the Difference Maker Award. So last month on our website, we received 38 nominations for the September Difference Maker. So we received those nominations. Those nominations can be for any employee, service or professional, and then a team of people at the central office reviewed all the nominations and selected last month's, well, the Difference Maker for September. I will say this is our little award. Malady Reeve, any of you who know Malady Reeve, she works at the central office. She's Assistant Director of Federal Programs. She's very talented. She drew this, the concept. And then she gave it to Holly Kincaid, who's an art teacher at Park Middle School, and Park's students made these awards. So they've already made them one, each month for the rest of the year. And then on the bottom of it is a sticker. And the sticker says, Made with Love, Appreciation, Park Middle School, and then the student name and grade. So they're all a little different, so they're very unique awards. And if Ms. Kincaid is watching, I certainly want to say thank you publicly to Ms. Kincaid. But we're very excited about this award. So with all that said, we have a difference maker in our presence, the difference maker for September of 2024. So I'm going to read some of what was said through the various nominations received for this individual. And if she's really listening, she'll know by the time I get to the end who she is. So she truly cares about the well-being of staff and students and goes out of her way to help anyone. She ensures students have everything they need, and even more so that her teachers are respected, cared for, and supported with whatever they need. She never hesitates to lend a helping hand, even when it is not her job to do so. She has cleaned tables and restrooms and worked the front desk when the school had no coverage. She has helped by improving the school's academic reputation through having the second highest test scores in the county last year. She pushed hard to improve the school's attendance rate, as shown by the school having the highest rate for the first month of this school year. She was so proud, she set up for every student to get a snow cone after lunch to celebrate this accomplishment. In closing, she cares about our school. It is awesome to see our school heading in the right direction. September's difference maker and our first ever difference maker is Jamie Bailey, principal of Liberty High School.
Congratulations. Now moving on with our meetings, Liberty High School. If you would introduce your team.
Okay. Well, I'm Jamie Bailey. I'm the principal of Liberty High School, and I'm representing our LSIC. With me tonight is Rachel McAllister, assistant principal, Peggy Bone, our service personnel, Lindsay Akerd, teacher, Daniel Hall, at-large member, Trish Williams, teacher, and Joan Cooper, teacher. Okay. So to start us off tonight, I'll be talking about the different sections on our LSIC. The first thing I'm going to draw attention to is our performance measures. So we increased 12% in reading from the 23-year school year to the 24-25 school year. We also increased 8% in science. We're ranked 29th in ELA from all the high schools in West Virginia. There's 114 high schools in the state of West Virginia, and we're 29th in English. We're 40th in math. And we're also ranked 35th on School Digger, which is an increase of 22 spots from the last year. So we are one spot below Shady from all the other high schools. So we're really climbing up in our attendance and our academics. We benchmarked on October 1st, and I just want to give you guys a little data. On those of you that have the extra sheet, I actually printed off the data so you guys can see it too in chart form if you're interested. It looks like this. So I have our 9th, 10th, 11th, and our average score if you're wanting to see our benchmarks. It's in the extra. Yes. Yes. You good? Okay. If those of you that have the regular one, it's in that. Yes. Okay. So for English, and this is October, so you have to remember when we tested, we were barely 2 months into school. In English, in 9th grade, I have 26.8% already meeting or exceeding standards. In 10th grade, I have 21.7% meeting and exceeding standards, 37.1% in 11th grade meeting or exceeding standards in English. To meet or exceed in ELA, you have to score a 410 in 9th grade, a 460 in 10th grade, and a 470 in 11th grade. When you look at our average, the difference in 9th grade is 49 points. So we're very close for the average of our kids already meeting and exceeding. In 10th grade, it's 51 points is the difference. And in 11th grade, it's only 34 from our average to meeting and exceeding standards. And we're only in the second month. So I'm very confident that when we get to our next benchmark, that our students, more percents, will be meeting that because we are very, very close to all of those kids meeting that. In math, we are lower. We are, in 9th grade, we are 15.9% meeting standards. 10th grade is 6.6%, and 11th grade is 9.3%. To earn, meet, or exceed standards in math, in 9th grade, you have to have a 450. 10th is a 510, and the 11th is a 520. In 9th grade, on our average, we are 92 points away from meeting standards. In 10th grade, we're 122 points meeting standards. And 11th grade, we're 120 points away from meeting standards on average. So again, not a large gap for us to close when we go to benchmark again, and I'm very confident. We only had, everybody in the school took the test, except for about 12 students. So the data is pretty accurate for all of our kids. And like I said, I'm very confident in my teachers and in my staff that we'll see when April comes that we'll have a big jump in percent. Our long-term goal is to reach the top 20 in both subjects. So like I said, I was 29th in English and I'm 40th in math. So long-term, down the road, we want to be in the top 20. Short-term, the goal is to get our balanced scorecard percents. So in math, we need to reach a 31.6%. So as you see on the LSIC, we are 29%. So that is only 2% away from what we need to reach. That's our short term for this year. And also in ELA, we exceeded. In ELA, we just needed a 44.1% to meet balanced scorecard, and we are at 54%, so we are 10% above what's expected of us. So our goal for English is to go towards the 67.8%. That's the goal for 2036. So we'll keep going towards that. I'm gonna, do you guys want to do questions at the end? Or do you have any questions now? Is that fine? Okay. From there, on my next page on my LSIC, this will kind of discuss our major concern, how we're planning to correct and address any issues that we have, and kind of what we identify as things we would benefit from at Liberty High School. So when I met with my LSIC in September, we really said our major concern was making sure that our curriculum offerings have students' interests at heart, and we want to make sure we have the most opportunities for students to take classes that interest them, challenge them, and benefit them. So our plan is to offer more advanced placement courses. I already have Ms. Criddle. She is my chemistry and physics teacher. She's already expressed interest in becoming AP certified. And I have spoken to Ms. Blankenship, she's actually here too, about doing AP statistics. So we're gonna look at offering more AP classes to continue to build that science and math percent. It says we're going to plan to encourage students to pursue classes that suit their interests by giving career interest surveys and involving parents. We are communicating more with parents to make this concern happen. I emailed out a benchmark letter, so every 9th, 10th, and 11th grade student received a benchmark letter with a goal. So I put on there like, this is what you earned on your benchmark, and this is where I want you to be. And I personally customized those for 450 kids. So I went through and I made sure that I pushed them. In that letter too, I let them know that what you needed to get promised scholarship, you need a 510, so that way they had something to work towards. If you want to be in honors in AP, this is what you have to get to work towards. And of course, dual credit. You have to earn a 530 in math to do dual credit. So I made sure in that letter they all knew that. Something else we're going to start requiring, me and my counselors, are that we have to contact your parent in the schedule making process. Before, we didn't require that, and we think it's really important to have parents involved so they know what their kids are taking and they have more information to help them make decisions instead of the kids just making the decisions on their own. So that is going to be a requirement when we go to make the schedules. And we're also going to do a community event in February. We're calling it the pregame parent huddle, and that's where the parents can come in before our boys basketball game and we can sit down and make a schedule together. So if they would like to come in person, of course they can come to the school, but this is going to be a big event where the teachers are going to be there. They can talk to the AP teachers, they can talk to the dual credit teachers, they can talk to the ag teacher, the business teacher, whoever they want to talk to. So that's going to be a big thing to help make the schedules. Something else we want to do is we want to kind of explore grants, partnerships, community resources, and set up new curriculum initiatives to bring new opportunities. So we really want to kind of, when I say that, we really want to work more with dual credit and more colleges and figure out what other classes we can offer, just besides the basics, math, English, and we have like a psychology. So looking at dual credit as offering more for that. And then from here, I have our things that would benefit us. I won't read this to you because it's very long. I think everybody has a long wish list, but I won't do that to you. Curriculum, like I said, that's our major concern. That's where I'll spend most of my time talking. But we would really appreciate any type of SAT prep programs and materials that we could find, we could provide, if that could be funded. Just to give you guys some background, the PSAT, we did the free version of the test, and while it works, it was very time consuming, especially with students making accounts and if they would get locked out. And then I had to, along with others, have to gather all the information, put it in a chart, put it in a table, and put it in an Excel document. And if we could pay for the PSAT, it would do a lot of that for us, and we wouldn't have that much legwork to do. So it would kind of do all the tables and organize kids. It would also be able to organize them by demographics, which I don't have. So like I don't have like special ed demographics because I would have to do that on my own. So we do request that if we could pay for the PSAT for the 9th and 11th grades, it would just help us on the data side of it, saving some time and saving time logging them in because they would give them a code instead of the login. Something else we really want at Liberty High School, we have an open CTE program, and we would love to have another agricultural program. Miss Akerd is our agricultural teacher. She is here. And I told her I had some facts that she probably didn't know because I asked from them, from Mr. Pack and Miss Kraus. But we have 23 completers this school year. 11 of them are double completers. We only had 12 last year. Lindsay's only been with us for 1 year, and she's already doubled it. So we have doubled the completers this year. They took a benchmark on 1017, and her students, 9 out of 23 have already met cut score. So that means they have already mastered the business, like they could go out and do that job. They've already done that. So their next goal is to get governors. She also had 5 out of 11 exceed standards on plant systems. So they've already met that cut score, and they haven't even done their final test. Our students really love our ag program. They love, it has everything that they like to do, everything they like to learn about. And on the extra piece that I was telling you guys about again, I did a questionnaire. So this is the last page of the extra. So this is the last page. So I asked my kids, I'm like, if I could do another CTE program, what would you want? And so the first one is if you were to have a secondary agriculture program, they all pick pet grooming. I don't know how viable that is. That can be a Mr. Pack. But in my opinion, I think a lot of them picked that because it sounded fun. I think more for them is power, structural, and technical program. So I cut the name off a little bit on that. But that program is learning to work on equipment. So farm equipment, agricultural equipment, engines, things like that, very specific to the agricultural business, and they picked that if that was an opportunity, they would like to take that. I have a very large shop area where all of that equipment could go into. I also know that they didn't pick forestry. That was about 14% picked forestry. I also think that would be a very good program. That would learn all about DNR. It would learn about how to take care of the forest. It's even chainsaw. It's a lot of different things. But I think the engine part and dealing with agricultural equipment is something that they would be very interested in taking. I also put on my LSIC another CTE program. Our kids are very medical focused, and I get all this information from last year when I asked the kids, what are you interested in as far as a career or a cluster? And I asked them about the CTE program sports medicine, and I also asked about advanced medical preparedness. On here, you'll see that it is yes, so 30% would like to do sports medicine, and 37% said maybe. So I always take that as they need more information. And then the same thing for advanced medical preparedness. I had 34% say yes, they would like to do that, and then I had 34% say maybe. So what I would like to ask is, I'm not asking for both, but I would like to explore and possibly fund another CTE program to get our kids, like I said, for my major concern, on things that interest them, challenge them, and benefit them. Because both of these programs would involve reading and math in them. Engine repair is going to have the math and reading, which will help my scores. Medical preparedness is going to do the same thing. So these are just programs that I looked at that I think would benefit my students, and then I wanted them to to let me know if that was true or not. But those are the two that I would like to pursue. On personnel, I am 21% special ed, so I'm just back on the LSIC part of it. And we were able to have a 5th special ed position. When I say 5th, it's a 5th multi-cat is what I have. Normally I have 4, but I have 5 this year. It has been extreme help. Ms. Cooper is here, and she is benefiting from the 5th multi-cat. We need it for compliance because we are 21%. My science and social studies classes are over the 33% that is allowed. So I'm just asking it that we continue this because I don't see my special ed numbers going down. I know at Trap Hill, I know 6th grade has a very large special ed population. They're shaking their heads, yes. Yes, they do. Yes. And it's going to keep coming, and I'm going to have to keep a higher percent. So it's been really beneficial to me, and I think it's really beneficial to science and social studies to have that extra person to, again, increase our reading and math. And now that science is back being tested, it's really going to help boost those middle-of-the-road kids. The other personnel that we need desperately, school lunch is now free, and our kids love that. And we serve over 200 breakfasts every day and 315 lunches. Of course, that varies, so you could give or take 20 off of each of those. I have 3 cooks, and they are awesome, and they work really, really hard. But if we could have a half-time cook, it would help them tremendously. There are definitely times where, with a food handler's card, we have to help. And they really could benefit from that, so they could spend more time not being at work later than they should be. But we really need that, especially with that free food program. And then, lastly, I'll kind of put facilities and safety. Safety's separate because I know we didn't want to put it all together. But facilities, I asked last year for the building to be rekeyed. That's still on top of my safety. If our building could be rekeyed, I have multiple keys that I don't know what they go to. Nobody has a full set of keys there. It's very cumbersome to go through all of them. And I put on our safety one, our main exterior door. The rubber gets stuck very often, and maintenance has to come down and fix the rubber at the bottom. So I did request if we could just have a new main front door, because when I don't know it's sticking, the door is open and it's not latched. And that is very dangerous for our kids. Facility-wise, we need new flooring at Liberty. It's all different colors. There's divots, there's holes, and they just don't sell the flooring anymore. So if they do replace it, it's just a different color, and it doesn't look really good. My thing I want is, the only thing people see at our school, and which is a reflection of Liberty, is where they come in at. They come in the front, they come in the cafeteria, they come to our gym, and they come to our football field. They don't see the rest of it. So that's one of my goals, is to continue to upgrade our facilities, because that's what people see and that's what people remember when they leave. I think, like I said, I don't want to read all of this. I know one thing that everybody here talks about is the yellow siding. We just would like to paint it black. There's yellow siding on the outside of Liberty. I don't know if anybody notices that. We are not yellow, but if we could paint it black, I think that would be a soup. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, when people come up, they're like, oh, there's yellow siding, you know. So I just want to make what people see look really good for us. I'll wrap it up. But with all of this, I just want everyone to know that I'm really proud of Liberty High School. We have a lot of different accomplishments. We're the 2024 Champion College of Access and Success. We have won that for the past 7 years, and we're not stopping. We'll win that every year. I'm ordering things to hang them up on the wall so everybody can see. We won the Wellness Fair poster twice in a row. Just throwing it out there. And we were the PSA winner, which was very exciting, and we have a new camera. We are also the Beckley Water Company's calendar contest winner. So we won $250, and we are in 6 months out of 12, and the cover page. So the Beckley Water Calendar, everyone in this room can have one when they get delivered. And I was also awarded a $5,000 grant from T-Mobile, and we are going to be upgrading our ticket booth. So when I talk about facilities, like I said, that is a goal of mine. So we're going to have a brand new ticket booth out at football field for people to see, and it's going to be really nice with metal siding, metal roof, and all the good things like that. And just to kind of drive home the CTE program, we did get awarded the 2024 largest FFA membership increase from the FFA organization. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Any questions?
I don't know where to start at, to tell you the truth. But congratulations on all your test scores and all the good things you're doing. A lot of positive things happening at Liberty, no question about that. And I understand you're now like the Apple Queen or Apple thing of the state. How many 1,000 pounds of apples did you give away? 1,750 bushels. Bushels, okay. The apples. And I don't see an apple pie. I don't see an apple pie up here one. Huh? 68,000 pounds. Which that's pretty awesome. And I don't have a pie. I just don't understand about that. Well, I didn't expect Lindsay to get me one. I expect her mom maybe get me one, but I didn't expect Lindsay to back me one. I'm not that crazy, you know. But yeah, it was a great thing. But the honors things you've made on that, and I guess I brag a little bit here both ways. But you know, Liberty kind of gets overlooked a lot of stuff, but your academics are definitely up there. My granddaughter went to Liberty. She became an honor scholar, W, and then she became one of 5. And Raleigh County had 2 of those. No other county in the state even had that. We had 2 in Raleigh County, and I think you'll see more coming. So that's a good reflection on Liberty and what you're doing there. I always thought, you know, when the new football field went in, it kind of changed everything. I think that's the nicest logo in the county. I mean, it really looks sharp and everything, what they've done up there. And the grounds are looking better. Everything looks really good. And I'll agree with you on those other additional CT programs. We have to talk to Charlie and see what goes into that. But especially that ag mechanics class, because that translates into everything. I mean, whether the kids go in agriculture or not, the skills they're learning in that, whether it's diesel, working in gas, hydraulics, you name it, those are jobs out there readily available in this area. You know, the sports medicine thing is another good thing. We can't get trainers. Nobody can get a trainer. I know a couple counties that went in and doing their own trainers. So there again, something that would be good. And I think it would add a lot to your program. That's all I have. And I had one other little thing here. I can't find it, but that's okay.
Anybody else have anything?
I'd just like to say thank you. You can tell how proud you are of your school, and I think that's wonderful. But to me, it is truly amazing that you made the time and effort to write 450 individual letters to students. That's amazing. And I know that took an awful lot of your time, but that is such a good thing, and I'm sure that you will get good results from it. It was amazing. Thank you.
Anybody else?
And Lindsay, your program is pretty awesome.
Okay, and what I would say is you talked about a lot of things that Liberty has won. They can now also be recognized as the school that had the first Make a Difference award to you. Thank you for all that you do. Okay, the next school would be Trap Hill Middle. Ms. Pennington.
Can you hear me?
Okay, we good? All right, to introduce our LSIC members, just hold up a hand. Mr. Teetle is our assistant principal. Krista Chappell is one of our teachers, band and music. Susan Greathouse, West Virginia history. Anna Stover is our multi-cat. Sue Anna Martinez, bus driver. Samantha French is one of our parents. Jamie Holstein is one of our parents. Allison Milam is one of our parents in our chair. And Miss Leanne Burdette is one of our at-large members. Our other at-large members not here is Sonia Cooper, Mary Nelson. Our service personnel not here is Miss McFalls, and our student is not here, Bevan. Her mom works till 5:30, and then she has dance. So, okay, just to draw your attention to a few things. I know you have the summary, and I'm not going to read that because you all have that. Just to draw your attention on some things that we've worked really hard to achieve is our math is at a 40% proficiency rate. Our reading is a 47. Major concerns are ELA scores. We were only 1 point higher than 23. I had a new teacher. We suffered a little bit in 8th grade. And we also, right now, currently have 2 long-term subs, one in 8th and one in 6th. And as always, attendance is a problem for us. Our plans with that are experienced subs in both the long-term positions and the 6th grade. We have experienced subs in those positions. 6th grade is familiar with iReady, pathways, and benchmarks. And the 8th grade person is willing to learn anything to help. She's done several long-terms in our building. And of course, we have the county long-term sub-training. They are paired with veteran teachers to assist them in the content. The attendance, we've added a whole bunch of new things, and I think that it is helping. I have to brag about this. I know it was on the website, but for the first time ever, we had a perfect day for one of our grade levels, and that was 6th grade. Everybody in that grade was there, and I don't even remember a day like that. We haven't had one since. We're working on it. But we had one, and that's a step. And looking at the month attendance that just came out, we're doing some good things because it's getting better. It's better than where it was last year. Some things that we do in there, we have lunchroom activities that were created by 2 of our custodians. We have the MTSS for the unexcused absences, and as well, our teachers, regardless of the absences, contact parents, eventually leading to team meetings and SAT. We have incentives each 9 weeks for 2 or less days. Those are coupled with behavior and academics. Perfect attendance drawings, 2 students for every grade level in the month get drawn out for perfect attendance. We have the Wildcat that showed up this year in the grade level that has the best attendance right now, and it's 6th grade for both months. Advisory has a sign, and once they get the letters filled out for everybody being there, they get to do special things, whether it's extra gym time or some special snack, and we've already had several that participate in that. We put the signs in the hallway, and I also put the signs in the classroom this year. I started this year recognizing my staff that has perfect attendance each month, just like the kids, and they have stars on their doors. I went one evening and put the stars on their doors so they would see it the next day. I don't have a star yet, but I'm working on it. Mr. Teetle does. You guys can see what we need. I'm not going over that. The one thing that I do appreciate is the 6th, unlike Jamie, 6th grade or special ed is a big population in our building. And we do have a 6th grade special ed multi-cat / behavior position that we've actually had to utilize in another section of 6th grade inclusion for math. So we need to keep that if at all possible. I'm going to go back to that last page. We're very proud of the fact that we came up 15 points on School Digger. We are now 42nd. We're catching up to Indy and Shady, so look out. And as I said, we had a 40%, a +7 in our math. I'm going to jump ahead. Well, no, I won't. I'll stop. We had a 1 point increase in ELA, so we're working on that. The scorecard. I was so excited to see blue in the academics. That's the first time I remember blue on our scorecard. We had a 53.9, that's our math progress value. We also met target. We had check marks, but we had blue. That was exciting. We did have blue for our discipline value, We had 92.8, and we're after Shady on that one. So we're catching up to the city schools. Right now, our iReady, you have to remember iReady is testing grade level. When they come to us, our sixth graders are being tested on sixth grade material. Right now, our sixth graders in reading, there is 27% of them at or above grade level, 25% is ready to learn sixth grade material, and 49% is 2 or 3 grade levels behind. In looking at this, this is the best that they have started the first benchmark. We have a year on the other schools, and that means a lot. You have to get buy-in and learning how to use that data and moving forward, and you have to incentivize you have to incentivize like crazy. 7th grade, 22, they have 40% at or above grade level. 23 is ready for grade level. 36, and this is the benchmark, so this was just done in September. 37% at 2 or 3 grade levels behind. So it is working. It is working from elementary coming up to us to close that gap. And I think when you really see, as they get closer, I'm thinking 22, 23, is that the first year that our pre-K program started with no COVID restrictions? Am I right with that? Did I figure that right? You'll be able to compare what your gapped kids have versus your ones that are coming up back in without COVID. Grade 8, 26 at or above grade level percent, 18 ready, and 61 2 or more grade levels behind. The math, grade 6, 13% at or above, 40 ready to learn, and 47% 2 or 3 grade levels behind. That's the part you look at. You look at the move from red to yellow, yellow to green, because it moves all over the place. And I don't remember, since we've been doing this, having this low of the red at the start. So it's working. Grade 7, 27% at or above, 32 ready to learn, and 41% 2 or more grade levels below. 16% for 8th grade at or above, 27 ready, and 57 2 or 3 grade levels below. So there's where we stand right now in September. And you do have to, like I said, they get tickets. We call them our 10-10, our 20-20, our 30-30, all the way through the end of the year before the summative is given. And they have to have 10 lessons in each one completed, as that's coming up next week. And then the teachers will give them these tickets that they turn in for snacks. Where's Teresa Baker? Okay. It's healthy snacks. Yes, yes, sir. Yes. They work for snacks. We have a lot of thank yous around our facilities. Thank you for the new flooring in the band room and choir room. Our offices do need new carpet or flooring, and I said I wasn't going to do that, so I'm not going to do that. Thank you for the band room and choir room flooring. You can see what we need. Thank you for the Apple TVs, the kidney tables, the adjustable desks, and I'm not going to go over what we need. You all have been very kind, as I am sure you will be. I would like to mention some special things from last year. We came up the 15 to make us 42. There's our summatives on the scorecard. We had blue. We had 2 students that placed at the state level for Math Field Day. Our 6th grader placed 13th, and our 8th grader placed 7th. That was exciting. And we had iReady, buy-in, use, and results. And it took us a while to get there. This year, Trap Halloween happened Friday. We had over 1,000 people walk through our door. I bought 600 items for kids, for teachers to give out to kids. The adults got the surveys, and there was almost 300 surveys turned in. So I figure in the neighborhood of maybe the high schoolers that didn't do the surveys or get the trinkets, we probably had about 1,000 people walk through that door. It was amazing. And our attendance, I think, is finally on the right track. And I'm done. What do you all have of me?
your Trap Halloween, and it was an awesome event. You and your staff do a terrific job with that. It's something wonderful for the community. I think the community looks forward to it every year. And when I got there, I went through a back door because I wasn't risking my life to go through the front door. But it was a wonderful event. And I mean, we all know Trap Hill's near and dear to my heart because I spent 27 years there. But your carpeting is 23 years old in the offices. So it needs some attention.
Any other comments?
Only thing I was going to, and I ain't mentioned, Liberty got here too quick, and that was one of my notes there. We'll talk about yours with the cameras. Do we have a plan on upgrading the cameras so that on the schools, we get that every year, the number of security cameras? Go ahead. Okay, so there was some upgrade. I thought we had, okay, so these are just some blind spots you need some? Okay. That was the thing. And then I mentioned the same thing that she did on the carpet. I actually thought it had been replaced, to tell you the truth, because I saw it a couple years ago. You had tape on it and stuff and trying to keep it there. Gary, or maybe Dr. Starcher, Liberty brought it up, and we'll probably have it again and again in these other schools, the rekeying of schools, the rekeying of schools. Do we have a plan or a master plan on how we're going to tackle that? Or Mr. Dillon, maybe? I mean, we can't do it in one day, we can't do it in 1 year, but we need a plan to do that. Yeah, you want yours done too? Oh, okay. Yeah, but Liberty had that they wanted stuff, and I will hear from other schools. I just wonder what our plan was on that.
If I remember correctly, we have 1 or 2 schools too in the budget this year, and then we will continue to rekey as necessary. But we do have 2 in the budget this year, and I don't know. Liberty is one,
right,
and Park is the other.
I know it's kind of like we tackled the playgrounds. We started out playgrounds, everybody knew playground. We just got a system we went through when we finally caught up mostly to that. But I didn't know we had a system on that for those 2. Congratulations on your test scores and what you've done on all that, and on the school itself. The school always looks good. I mean, I don't know who your janitors are or whatever, but the school always looks so good when it's out there. You drive by it and everything, it's always clean and sits good, and it does. And hats off to, well, first thing, you ought to just shoot the person who designed the school, putting it right across from the high school. But hats off to you guys, you're able to handle that every day when Liberty's letting out, when Trap Hill's letting out. Because I've been in that line trying to get into either school or both schools sometimes. And I mean, WU after the football game doesn't even compare to that. It's crazy. The way the traffic's come across, people crossing a 2-lane main highway one way and buses crossing the other way. And but thank goodness everybody does a really good job, and I appreciate what you do to keep kids safe and get them out of there. Thank you.
Hey, Laura, make sure your staff knows. I know the planning that goes into your Trap Hill wing, and your staff has to be right there with you, and that's a lot of work. Let them know we appreciate it, please.
Ms. Pennington, before you go, yes, I was Wednesday and I enjoyed my time there, but I want to echo what Ms. Smith and Ms. Hamrick said. I was absolutely amazed at how, I mean, I understand we were in hallways, but it didn't look like a school at all. I mean, it was absolutely amazing what you did to transform the school into that wonderful Halloween experience. I have a birthday very close to Halloween, so Halloween is near and dear to my heart, believe it or not. I had a blast, and I hated that I had to leave a little early to go to a football game. But it was amazing, and it was my first Trap Halloween. Thank you for always inviting us. I plan to come back next year, but if it's like that every year, I can only imagine why there were over 1,000 people there. And when I did leave, the line was still wrapped out to almost to the road. So it was great. Keep up the wonderful work on the academic side, but I hope Trap Halloween is always like that in the future. Yeah. And and I'll say, it's not just students from your attendance area either. I had my picture made with a student from Maxwell Hill. So you receive students from all over the county, but. It was a lot of fun. So thank you. Thank you for the amazing job you did.
Thank you. Okay, next up is Fairdale Elementary School. It's all yours.
I'm going to introduce the LSIC for Fairdale. Just raise your hand when I call your name. We have teachers, Lisa Brown, Amy Cozart, Jill Wright, service personnel, Kim Jarrell, Bill Drennan, parents, Debbie Akerd, Sheila Daniels is not in attendance, Samantha French, at-large members, Larry Brown, Houston Lafferty, Laura Workman, and Mr. Larry Wright. And as we go over our summary for Fairdale, our chairperson is a teacher, Miss Amy Cozart, and she is going to continue.
All right, good evening. I'm going to have to look over and under my glasses as I get older. I'm finding I have to have contacts for distance and readers for up front. As you look at our scores, we went down in math and science this year, and those are one of our biggest concerns. But we went up in reading, and we're very proud of that with our kids. Our biggest concern right now is our test scores that have decreased in math and science, and we have several things that we are doing right now to help with that. One of the things we're doing is using the simple solutions in the newly adopted Ready Math. We did not have the Ready Math before, so our kids were at on a different playing field than everybody else. So now we have access to that, and we already have, we're using this curriculum, and we already have trainings. We have about once a month somebody comes in and we work with them on that, and that's already started. We have the county math coach. We are using the county levy money to purchase Math Shelf for pre-K and K, as well as Reflex for grades 1 and 5. Let's see, we're also utilizing data and lessons provided from iReady to pinpoint the weak areas. As far as our other main concern, it was having additional staffing long-term, permanently in the autism classroom. It is a new program, it's only the second year, and we have subs that are assistants, and we really need long-term or permanent assistance in that classroom. And I'm very into that because it's my classroom. We are currently using other staff members to help us when transition to different parts of the day and to recess when we need help. We are also using our specials teachers to do intervention lessons to the other classes during their teachers' plan time. And we are also using our 5th grade STEAM to address science, because that's our concern with the science testing starting this year. see. Some of the things that we would like to have assistance with, we want to continue using the curriculum team meetings as well as the county math coach. We would like to have an after-school tutoring program, which has been posted to be hired. And we would like to have more substitutes hired because there's a lot of vacancies and it's difficult to fill those vacancies. We're very proud of our custodial staff that has been fulfilled. We're full this year, last year was very difficult. And we're very proud they opened up the school and it looks beautiful. They've done extra work and they work really hard to help us stay clean, which is nice. We would like more opportunities for training for strategies to use with autistic students for everybody, the assistants, staff. There's not a lot out there for our general ed teachers and our assistants that work with our students with autism. So we'd like to have some more training opportunities. And we would like to request the continuation of professional development through the math coach. For our personnel, again, we would like more permanent position in the assistance for the autism classroom because we have a variety of age groups over a variety of settings, and we need that to generalize those skills and to be able to reach their needs. We currently have 1 teacher, 1 full-time aide, and 2 substitute aides that we continue every week, I think is what we're doing. So the kids need a consistency, as do the adults. We're looking forward to having our after-school tutorial programs and more availability of substitute aides are requested for custodians and substitutes or assistants. For our facilities, we're very thankful in purchasing the digital sign, the help with that. We raised, I think, 1/3 or 1/2 of that, half of it, and it's very beautiful. And somebody came and clear cuts the side of the road so we can see the sign from both sides. It looks very nice and bright, and the kids love it. We're also thankful for being able to update our pre-K playground. It looks really nice, and the kids like it. And that new type of mulch is nice, the rubber mulch instead of, it's not as easy to eat, I guess, as the regular kind. I'm not sure. Hey, we're pre-K. We eat anything, right? So we're looking forward to the awning that's going to go over the parent pickup area. And it does say that we're looking forward to our fence being finished, but it is finished around the playground. Fences, gate, it's very nice. That's to help with the safety of our students. We do have a barrier in the autism classroom. It has been installed. We're just waiting for it to be anchored, and they were just in there today looking at that, so hopefully that'll be anchored soon. Let's see. We are asking for safety clings for the windows at the back of the school. Everybody can look right in the windows and see everything that's going on back there, and so we kind of feel it's a safety issue. Ooh, sorry, I get in and out there. And the interior classroom walls have not been painted since it's been built. So we would like a fresh coat of paint in the classrooms. All right. We are very thankful for our reading growth. Our kids have grown quite a bit in that area. We're very proud of our janitorial staff. Like I said, it looks beautiful. They opened it up, and we're fully staffed as of right now, as of today, correct? As of today, we have somebody that's in that evening session, which is on my side of the building. So we're thankful for that. We are showing growth in our attendance in the first and second recorded times. We have measured amount. We are higher than the county average. And our first graders, I believe, have been first both times. So we're very proud of that. And we're working on continuing our attendance. We are proud to be retaining most of our staff. We only have 2 full-time subs in teaching positions, and the rest are certified teachers, so that is awesome. And our service personnel, Serena Hanna, was also the Raleigh County Service Personnel of the Year, and we're very proud of her for that. Any questions?
Only thing I would say is if you got a formula to get us to get more subs and to get more permits, we'd love to have it.
I know.
I mean, I understand your request, but that's, I mean, we were talking earlier, I remember when I first started in education, people lined up and had to sub 3, 4 years to get a job.
When I first signed up to sub a long time ago, they turned me away. They said they had too many subs, but that wasn't.
Right, yeah. And that was probably statewide, everywhere. But we have a big shortage, I mean, when it goes from a janitor to a bus driver to a cook to an aide to a teacher, principal, it doesn't matter. There's just a severe shortage. And I don't know what all the answers are, but it does affect us, and it affects the quality of education you're able to give those kids and what you do. But we appreciate you working with us. The school does always look really nice. I mean, it does, and the new playground and the fence looks great.
It does, and I'm very thankful for that too. So, I'll kiss somebody's feet, whoever put it up. I would love it. I
Yeah,
love that
but
fence.
the maintenance there, Mr. Daniel and his crew, it looks great. It really does.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we'll hear from Marshport.
Good evening. I'm Tracy Wood, principal of Marsh Fork Elementary, and with me tonight I have Morgan Perdue. She is our Read Aloud coordinator and a parent. Sherry Wills, one of our bus and instructional aides. Kelly Claypool, one of our parents. Tina Asbury, our phys ed teacher. Jennifer Honecker, one of our aides. And Charlotte Turner, one of our only Title I teacher. Last year, I stood before you and said, I have 7 long-term subs, and I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to improve. And we have proven that we did accomplish that task. In reading, we nearly doubled our score from 22.67 to 45.16. And I will say we did that with a lot of help from our academic coach and really annotating and note-taking in our grades 3 through 5 through their benchmark advanced book and focusing on writing. And I'm so very proud of everybody that had a hand in that. In math, we did also improve. About 4% is what I was told today, but I only had 1% on here. So I like 4 better. We've got a long, long way to go in math, but we do have plans. The county has purchased us math mats that the kids are loving, and the academic coach and I yesterday taped them all over the building. So they now have to do circuit training. So they have different mats for different skills. And we've also been fortunate enough with money from CSI ATS to purchase the literacy mats. So we also have the alphabet and 100 words that the kids, they jump on them. I've got them at the bathrooms because that is where I felt we wasted the most time, is waiting on kids to come in and out. So they now use their math mats and they're practicing their multiplication. They're learning how to skip count. And I feel like that is a really good use of their time there. We also increased in science, and that would be through the use of a lot of charts and graphs, because that is one of the skills that our kids were lacking in. Our major concern for this year is our math proficiency. We have several things we're doing. We're still continuing with our simple solutions. We purchased Reflex Math for 2nd through 5th grade, and that also has a fraction portion to it, that fluency. And we have purchased Math Fact Lab for our 1st graders and some of our students with disabilities that can't do the upper level tasks. Currently for curriculum, we don't really have additional requests. However, my phys ed teacher said she would love to have a loo that is one of those projectors that shines on the floor or the wall and the kids interact with it. She said that would be a great asset to our curriculum in phys ed. Staff development, we love the curriculum team meetings, keeping the whole county on the same page. I know when I was an instructional coach, that was also a great benefit. We are thankful for the long-term sub-training that they had on the 12th. I only have 3 long-term subs this year, and unfortunately 2 of them were unavailable to go, but 1 did get to attend, and she is a huge fan and said she will attend any of them that are held in the future. We would like to have more time at the school level for professional development that's specific to our school. For example, this year we bought a program for social emotional learning called Character Strong, and we got to have like a 2-inch level of understanding of that before the kids came. And we would like to have had about a 12-inch level of understanding. So if we could have more time on those PL days that's not dictated, that would be wonderful. We also have Power School Behavior Support, and that is a way for us to track behaviors and also to track the kids' Bulldog bucks. That's what they earn for following expectations, and we have a store that they can spend them in twice a month. Personnel, we don't really have any requests at this time. We understand our enrollment has dropped and the cuts that were made were necessary. For our facilities, our tiles in our classroom, I know that our school is not old, but the tiles that were purchased were the ones that you don't wax, and any scratches that have been put in them by moving chairs are dark and dingy, and it's just not attractive. So we would like our tiles replaced if at all possible. We would like some solid mulch pads for under our swings. I saw some at Coal City Elementary, and they're really nice, and that way the kids' feet aren't digging it out and having to put it back. Speaking of mulch, ours tends to flow over the railing and down around our playground. We need 1 more layer of the border that holds it in, and I think that would solve that problem. Our leaks in the office, we had rain the other day, and I did not see it in the office. So I'm very excited about that. I think they have finally found the source of our problems. So that is marked off. And we would like an extra look at our interior door locking mechanisms for an alternate solution. There's the keypads, and they caused us a little trouble. Our keys work great, though. All the teachers have their keys, and they can get in. And also, if we could find either a doorbell or some kind of keypad for the gym door, because when the gym door is locked and kids go to the gym, nobody hears them because you can knock, but they're having gym. So it's very difficult for them to know somebody needs in. I talked about our biggest accomplishment. And then we have our thank yous. I love our lights in the parking lot. It is like daytime looking at our cameras now, and that is wonderful. We finally have the route that goes across the culvert so that we can safely use our evacuation route. And thank you for our cafeteria tables. I know that sounds like something little, but oh, it's been so big. And our kids did earn fancy lunch for using Restaurant Voices. And you can see that on our Facebook page. They were very excited. And for the rest of the week, they said, "Are we having fancy lunch today?" I'm like, no, we have to earn it again. But right now, they're working on movie lunch. And just thank you for everything you guys do for us. Is there any questions?
Any questions? Comments?
Only thing I've got is, it is kind of discouraging on those tile floors, but we've had that. You're not the only school, new school we put in. Those vinyl tiles just do not. We put tennis balls on some of the desks and stuff, try to do it. I know when Phil was here, and they just don't last. They get those black marks on them, and they don't come out. I mean, I'm trying to think, maybe it's Faraday even. Maybe just like the year after it opened, tile looked like crap. So I'm not sure what the new product we need to use on that, or what. The new schools actually get tile. Brand new ones just love getting not vinyl, they do different things. So, yeah, that's something we need to look at. But I mean, they look bad, but they're still functional. But it's just a way to clean them.
Tracy, you can tell you all worked really hard improving your scores, and I think you've had a lot of help from your coaches and probably the State Department too, and that's great. I mean, you can see the effort's been there.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I just want to follow up with that and say, in case you don't know, Mr. Sexton was bragging about you at a board meeting and your accomplishments and how hard you had worked and how your scores had come up. So, hard work, I know, but thank you very much for everything.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Clear Fork.
All right. Good evening. I know everybody's tired, but at least you're full, right? All right. We have a lot of LSIC members, which is fabulous because it shows that we have a lot of support from our teachers in our community. So first off, I'd like to announce our teachers, Meredith Burns and Bethany Dickens. And our counselor is one of our professional staff, Molly Toney, which is our chair. We also have two service personnel, Tina McClellan and Debbie Gerald. We also have two parents here with us this evening, Rachel Hutchins and Alexis Williams. We also have an at-large member, Kim Baldwin, who fed you. And we also have two community members, Todd Burns, and let me get this right, the Honorable Delegate Chris Toney. Make sure I get that right. And we also have a student representative, Mr. Apollo Fink. So, Ms. Molly Tony, our chair, is going to present to you this evening.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Clear Fork Elementary. My name is Molly Tony, and I'm honored to be the school counselor representing Clear Fork Elementary this evening. President Ford, Dr. Starcher, our esteemed board members, Mr. Dillon, Ms. Lowry, and prestigious guests. Our hope for this evening is to ensure everyone is appreciated for their dedication to Raleigh County Schools and to welcome to share their insight on ways to improve our already evolving school climate. As a first-year school counselor in Raleigh County, I cannot offer you either exclamations or explanations concerning previous years. But what I can offer you is a summarization of the differentiated and engaging supports that are currently taking place to correct and address gaps in achievement from previous years. I will refer any questions from last year's achievement data to my LSIC team and address present concerns as best as possible. I am proud to share the transformative academic, social, emotional, and behavioral changes happening that will lay the groundwork for an even more productive and prosperous future in Clear Fork. To begin, I'd like to highlight our priorities as a school for the 24-25 school year. Simply put, we must be better than we've ever been before. If student achievement is at stake, there is no room for excuses or the status quo. Collectively, we are addressing issues in instructional modifications, promoting grade level efficiency, and student engagement by utilizing the tools and curriculum-based instructional supports that have been implemented countywide this school year. As a school counselor, I offer a unique approach in many meetings. I would often refer to the tried and true counseling tool I use when students confront me with their worries and their fears. I utilize a model called the circle of control. Too often, we as educators, leaders, and innovators worry about the things that are beyond our control and allow those outside factors to influence what we do in our offices and in our classrooms. Instead, we need an all-hands-on-deck and solution-focused instructional model to hold one another accountable and inspire our students to achieve even greater. As I take a look at this presentation along with you, I'm proud to say that we are already making achievements in the goals set for this year. According to the statewide GSA data, we dropped 1 percentage point in math, 10 points in ELA, which should be corrected on that handout that you all have, and increased our scores by 6 points in science. According to the iReady data results from last year, student achievement was projected to increase in both math and ELA. Although there will be instructional changes this school year to better reflect standards-based and differentiated instruction, we would like to partner with the central office as much as possible to help us in understanding those gaps. And we would also like to welcome partnerships with as many academic coaches, interventionists, and contracted experts as much as possible to model how to apply data-driven supports in our classrooms. I've already heard from many teachers this year who appreciated the PBIS training and other supports to better address student engagement and achievement in our classrooms. In addition to our academic coaches, Title I, and STEM instruction, we are looking forward to showcasing the supports that are already implemented to increase our test scores this year. And as of September, we are showing 72% of our students are in the green or yellow for math, while 71% of our students are in the green or yellow for reading. So we are already on target for this school year. I'm especially excited about one method that we will be using to better adapt data-driven strategies in the classroom, and that is with the utilization of our new data diner. This idea I brought with me from a previous school I worked at in Wyoming County, and I've seen incredible success with its utilization. The data diner will be a room for teachers to come in that solely focuses on accountability, data interpretation, planning, and collaboration. Too often, GSA data will only be reflected upon once test scores come out around the end of a school year. Of course, there are modifications made when iReady results show gaps in achievement, but teaching to the standard is not addressed as often as it should be. With the implementation of the data diner, teachers will have the opportunity to collaborate with one another during PLC meetings and professional learning days to regularly discuss the strategies that are working in their classrooms and also hold one another accountable if students are underachieving. For example, if a first grade class is underperforming on a math standard centering on double-digit addition, the second grade teacher, who is also in there for a PLC meeting, may offer some additional insight on how to manage behaviors in that classroom, offer student engagement strategies, and so much more. This data will be showcased on 2 data boards with privacy shields that represent every student, every homeroom, and every benchmark per every 9 weeks. This serves as a visual reminder of the students making progress, those needing additional supports, and students who are not benefiting from current instructional efforts regularly. Also, data can be incredibly intimidating for some people. So those with more experience in assessing or interpreting data may collaborate with those who may not have that experience yet, and also help them in their understanding of applying new methods in their classrooms. By the end of this year, every square inch of that data diner will be covered in standards that were addressed, strategies implemented to address gaps in achievement, and differentiated strategies to ensure our students are successful. As a school counselor, I take student achievement and well-being very seriously. Part of my job as a school counselor is to support the academic achievement goals of our school, and I'm happy to support our students in closing those gaps in achievement. To date, there have been over 40 whole group developmental guidance lessons that offer social emotional supports and provide students with tools that are needed to build relationships, respect themselves and those around them, self-regulation strategies, and ways to improve our school climate overall. However, those lessons may be delivered through differentiated instructional methods, including writing prompts, graphic organizers, T-charts, compare and contrast activities, informative or descriptive writing activities, and more to enhance our ELA comprehension through counselor-led and peer-to-peer activities. Along with those peer-to-peer supports, our 4th and 5th grade student leadership team members, who made your place cards today in your thank you cards, will be producing an informative video modeling and discussing the importance of positive behaviors in our school so that other students may be inspired to achieve even more positive behavioral goals this year. Their work in beautification efforts, community service, and bettering our school climate is already making such a positive impact this year concerning student and community engagement through PBIS. In speaking about modeling and promoting data-driven, positive supports, staff and student surveys were conducted, and they can also be found in some of your handouts, in September to address the needs of our school. Many of their concerns range from school safety, bullying prevention, academic achievement, and much more. In addressing our request for additional supports, we would like to elaborate on the following. Improving test scores. In addition to the supports that I've already shared with you, we would like to request additional training and supports in differentiated instruction, engaging classroom practices, and school-wide PBIS training opportunities. We would also like to request additional cameras to surround our campus to ensure student and staff safety. Lastly, we would like to request keyless entry pads for all of our classroom doors. The implementation of keyless entry pads would provide an added security measure for our students and staff, and also an extra security measure during extracurriculars. In closing, I would like to say that in addition to the eagerness to improve test scores, willingness to adapt, and to meet the academic and behavioral needs of our school, I am incredibly honored to be the school counselor at Clear Fork Elementary and work amongst some of the most dedicated, caring, and loyal educators that I've ever met. One word that continuously comes to mind when I think of this school is caring. They collectively demonstrate their passion for student success, as well as their well-being, by volunteering countless hours to make sure our facilities are maintained and respected, our students and their families are taken care of, and that one another, each employee, is supported and celebrated for the efforts that they make every single day. Although I am not from here, I already feel very much a part of this school community, and I look forward to achieving even greater academic, social, and emotional milestones in the years to come.
Any
Chris-
questions?
Chris, I bet you John Henry hates you. I no question in my mind. He probably just hates you. Because you stole a gem, no question in my mind. Great presentation, one of the better I've heard in a while. You really have a good thinger. And I did want to say, and I said earlier, the school looks excellent. Walking through the school, the cleanness of it, everything. I love your new playground out back. I came down right after that was done, and everything looks really good. And you're not the biggest school in the county, but you're always going to be a school in the county, probably, unless Chris puts a tunnel through the mountain. That doesn't happen. We're going to have a school at Clear Fork, I think. So you do a great job, and I think your test scores will come along. You've got a great plan, and I'm excited to see it. And welcome to Raleigh County.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I just want to say, I was looking around the room, and probably, I would say, maybe 100% of you don't remember. My very first job of teaching in Raleigh County was at the old Clear Fork High School. So I'm an old, yeah, exactly right. So I've been around Clear Fork for a long time. So driving across the mountain's not too much of a problem for me. And I love to come down and read to Mrs. Brown's class, and I've been reading to her class now for probably 5 or 6 years. And she's a phenomenal teacher, and I always get so much joy from reading to those kids. They're so loving and so interested, and I think that goes back to her teaching too. But thank you for allowing me to come down and to be part of that. I really, truly enjoy it.
Molly, I think that data diner it's a really cool idea, and I think it'll prove to be successful.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for the warm welcome and the food.
I also want to say, I don't know who made the cards, but that's really cool. Mine's got a little barn on, a little cow and everything, and I appreciate that. Marie's had some kind of flower child on hers. I'm not sure what hers is, but yeah, the heart there.
Yeah,
But
I
no.
echo what Mr. Snurper said about these cards. I'm going to replace mine at the board office with this.
Yeah, it's good. And the little letter here too was excellent. Thank the students, okay?
Absolutely.
Really well, thank you.
Our student leadership team, they're incredible.
They
So I
did a
will-
wonderful job.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know what this says, Rick. Yours has a cow on it. Mine has ABCs and ELA and a pencil and academics. So, for what it's worth, Rick.
I'm down here shoveling it, Charlotte. I'm down here shoveling it, okay? That's what it is. You got to keep shoveling. If you don't, it'll get over top of your head.
Okay, Dr. Starcher.
Well, thank you, Ms. Tony. It's great to have you in Raleigh County, and we're thankful you're here at Clear Fork and Marsh Fork. Wally serves both of the elementary schools, so thank you for your presentation. Thank you, Clear Fork. And I know she's not here, but if I've already told her thank you, but if you can send another thank you to Miss Irma for helping with the dinner, or with the food. We really appreciate that. And we have full bellies to return home this evening. But thank you for making us feel very welcome. And I think all of us appreciated our cards. And if Mr. Ford says we're replacing them at the board office, we'll replace them at the board office. They were amazing. They were all very personal. And we appreciate that. Thank you for making us feel at home here. And that's all I have, Mr. Ford.
Do you have anything for us?
If you all would like to see the data diner, I mean, it's in its very early stages, but if you would like to, you're more than welcome to come and see it.
I will add that the boards that Ms. Tony spoke about, they are very neat. I saw them earlier today. There are 2. That's all. There are only 2 right now. There are 2 hanging, but they have these nice little roller shades. You should go down and see them. They're very nice.
And we would like to thank you all, too, for helping us get those boards, and also the maintenance for helping us get them so quickly. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we have nothing else on our agenda. This meeting is adjourned.